The gospel of firm assurance and complete salvation. The law helps us clearly and completely understand what the gospel is. Since salvation cannot be achieved through human efforts, it is certain, complete, and unchanging because God Himself provides salvation. Ephesians 2 verses 8 to 9. For by such grace you have been saved through faith. This does not come from you, it is the gift of God, and not the result of actions, to put a stop to all boasting. Now, there is no longer a need for animals to die for people's sins like in the Old Testament. The statute of limitations for the redemption of an animal was at most 1 year. Leviticus 16 verse 34. This will be a perpetual statute for you as you make atonement once a year for the Israelis on account of all their sins. So Moses did just as the Lord had commanded him. Jesus Christ is eternal. Therefore, the efficacy of His atonement is eternal. Hebrews 13 verse 8. Jesus, the Messiah, is the same yesterday and today, and forever. Hebrews 9 verses 11 to 12. But when the Messiah came as a high priest of the good things that have come, He went through the greater and more perfect tent that was not made by human hands and that is not a part of this creation. Not with the blood of goats and calves, but with His own blood He went into the most holy place once for all and secured our eternal redemption. Hebrews 10 verses 11 to 12. Day after day every priest stands and repeatedly offers the same sacrifices that can never take away sins. But when this priest had offered for all time one sacrifice for sins, he sat down at the right hand of God. These are words that clearly explain how sure and complete our salvation is. The efficacy of Jesus Christ's atonement is eternal. Because He died once and for all, offering an eternal sin offering, the sacrifice for atonement for sins ended. Hebrews 10 verses 17 to 18. And I will never again remember their sins and their lawless deeds. Now where there is forgiveness of these sins, there is no longer any offering for sin. Now we are free from sin, death, and eternal punishment. And the Holy Spirit, who guarantees it, dwells deep in our hearts when we hear and believe this gospel. Ephesians 1 verse 13. You, too, have heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation. When you believed in the Messiah, you were sealed with the promised Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit dwells within me, I am able to live toward God. Our status has changed. We are no longer servants living under Satan's control. Now you can live as a beloved son or daughter in the love of God the Father. Galatians 4 verses 6 to 7. Now because you are His children, God has sent the Spirit of His Son into our hearts to cry out, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave but a child, and if you are a child, then you are also an heir because of what God did. Abba means father in Aramaic. Just as a child can call his father Daddy while pampering him, this means that we too can approach God like His Father and say anything to Him. Of course, this means that we get closer to God, but never do anything carelessly and reverence Him. Now, we believers can live boldly as children of God. Through faith in Jesus Christ, we can come before God boldly and without fear. Ephesians 3 verse 12. In whom we have boldness and confident access through His faithfulness.